everybody, Tom Stevens, your resident psychotherapist from Reaction Therapy, here with Nick on the Reaction Therapy podcast. Another episode of Nick. What a treat. Today we have none other than Trev Reacts, a fellow reactor.
Ready. I love interviewing fellow reactors. I've done a couple of them, and it's just really fun to get their perspective and to hear some wisdom from fellow reactors. It's really cool. It's just a different kind of vibe.
Well, and for somebody who has almost 12,000 subscribers in just a few months of doing this and is so laid back, I can't wait to see if he's actually as laid back sitting in conversation style. I have a feeling he is, as he is just in the live streams. This is a guy who live streams almost every single night.
Yeah, he's so down to earth. He talks to all of his people in his live streams. He's very active on his Discord. I think that's the coolest thing. I mean, we see a lot of reactors and you wonder, how genuine are they, like in real life? And I feel like he's one of those guys who is really genuine to all of his fans. I'm excited.
You know, when I first met him through either one of his streams or some comment back and forth, and we DM'd on Instagram, and now we'll text from time to time. So I've gotten to know him just a little bit, but I realized that, you know, he's doing this all himself. Like he's doing this entire channel himself from the ground up and scratch. And so it's going to be really cool to hear like what his plans are and what he's going to do next. So I can't wait.
All right. Anything else before we go into this?
No way. Let's get into this podcast now.
All right, guys. We'll see you after the podcast is over for closing announcements. But without further ado, let's go. Trev Reacts.
Trev, thanks so much for being on the Reaction Therapy podcast. It is great to have you. We have been waiting for this day, and just thank you for taking the time to be here.
Dude, thank you for letting me on. I've been talking to everybody about wanting to be on here. I'm happy to be here.
I mean, almost 12,000 subscribers. When I prepared myself for this, Trev, I put on here, you just passed 10,000. Well, now I had to adapt that today so quickly. You're almost at 12,000. How does it feel to be in a community, you know, a reaction channel? You're on your own. Like I kind of have this support system in Nick, you know, you're on your own doing everything. And how does it feel to have this like growing community? And at 12,000 people, you can't possibly know everybody, but what does it feel like?
Yeah. Well, it feels good. It's something that I've always wanted to do. You know, it's something that like I've always thought about starting a YouTube channel and wanting to get into it. And, you know, I've watched like y'all's channel and I've watched other people's reaction channels for so long. The fact that I'm almost hitting 12K is just unreal this quick. Cause I think I've been doing it for like 3.5, maybe 4 months already. And I don't know. To me, it feels like that's pretty fast growth.
No kidding.
So, but, and the thing is too, is like, I always talk about how like, I don't really have like anything special about me, you know, other than I'm just a normal person. And it's crazy how everybody, I don't know, I'm just like a normal redneck dude and people just love it, I guess. I don't know.
That is the part, I think, I'll let you ask a question next, but I love the laid back nature of you, you know, to be able to just watch what you do and watch you interact with people. And I feel like I know you just from the little engagement that we've had online. And the thing that I've noticed about you is how good you are at responding to people in live streams when you talk and being able to pay attention to them. And I know you talked about wanting to make sure you answered comments and that you were attentive to people. And I thought that's a really nice part. That's a good person.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I try to. Now, I'm going to be honest. I failed on the comments thing. I can't keep up anymore, to be honest. I've already got to the point where I can't keep up no more. But I try my hardest. But usually what I'll do here lately, I've been uploading 2 videos a day. So I'll try to keep track of one video. I'll just pick one video and comment on all those. But anyways, with the stream, like the whole reason I started streaming is I like talking to people. And I like the community, and I just like building a community. It just feels fun having people talk to me talk to them. And it's kind of like an energy exchange or something, even though it's online. So anyways, I love talking to people and I love streaming. And that's why I try to talk to everybody. I very few times has there been somebody that came into my chat and I didn't see it.
Yeah. Well, that's great because I know how important that is. I know there's so many reactors out there that just don't do that aren't that genuine, that just kind of do it and they're like, oh, there's too many people, I don't want to try to keep up with it. But I think it's really
Yeah.
cool that you do that. And now that I'm growing my own channel as well, I'm trying my best to do that too. And following in your footsteps in that way. So I got to know, so take us back to the beginning. Cause there's a couple of weeks ago, I was going down a Trev Reacts rabbit hole. I was going to the very beginning, trying to figure out when you started. So you started as actually just playing bass is what I found. And then it turned into reaction.
Wow.
So tell me how all that started and just how the reaction idea started for you.
Okay. Well, I started YouTube I think my YouTube channel is like 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old, and I uploaded just me playing bass. Really, how that happened, how I even started uploading on YouTube is I played bass guitar, and somebody said I couldn't play a song, but I couldn't ever see them in person. So I was like, I'm gonna make this video and send it to them. So I made the video and sent it to them, and I put it on YouTube, and then I think it got like 3,000 views or something when I uploaded it, and I was like, whoa. Anyways, I tried to keep track of it for a little while, but the bass, I love bass, but I like talking more and everything. So I've done that for years, and then off and on. I think out of the 8 years, I only had like 22 videos, I think. So not many. But anyways, I started watching reactions a lot, and I just really got into reactions and the fact of like it feels like a friend, and you're like, it's like you're showing. If I really like a song, it's like I'm showing a friend a song and I get to see what they think about it, if that makes any sense. So I got really into the reactions, and I watched every video from every reaction channel every day. That's how I was spending most of my time. And I was like, you know what? I like to talk a lot. I got a YouTube channel. I know a little bit about music. And at first I was going to go like real in depth, like with music stuff, but I changed my mind real quick on that because people, if you get something wrong, people roast you. But, but anyways, that's kind of how I got started. I was just like, I seen everybody else doing reactions. I was like, that looks fun. I'm going to do it too. So I started the first video I uploaded, I think it was like a country artist. And because I was like, that makes the most sense. And then somehow somebody recommended Tom McDonald and then NF. And I just kind of like looked into these big old fan bases right off the rip, and that's how I think I've grown so fast. But
that's what makes me wonder. I've got so many questions in my head for you, Trev, that when it comes to reactions, like I grew up listening to certain music. I'm an older guy, right? I'm in my 50s, so I'm a little bit different than the rest of the people that listen to a lot of the time, but you can start listening to music you've never listened to before. You can listen to genres that some of which, admittedly for myself, I think after a year of doing it, I started becoming much more honest about what I like and don't like. And in the beginning, I was trying to like everything, but honestly, some of it was for me and some of it was not. But I wondered if you noticed as you started like this, and then all of a sudden it starts to get to this big thing. What was it like to listen to just almost any kind of music? And sometimes you sit there, you're live, right? You're sitting there and it's like, okay. For me, I'd be like, I don't think I like this. Like, I'm not sure what to say. And I just would stare.
Dude, that's how, so here lately, I think over the last like month or so, everything I record is like live because I stream every night. So everything I record is live. And I had the bright idea. So I'm not really I'm gonna be honest, I tell everybody this, I'm not really into metal or anything like that, or like hardcore rock or anything, which I don't think Tool, I'm gonna talk about Tool, nobody roast me, but Tool, I'm not really the biggest fan of Tool. I reacted to that live last night, and I was gonna upload it today, but I'm scared to because I feel like people's gonna, try to tear me up, stone me or something. But I didn't like that one bit. And it's hard to react live because people's got this big expectation of you, like especially if they pay money for you to do a request. If they pay money for you to do a request, they got this big expectation, and I'll do it, and I'll just be like, dude, I don't like this song at all, and I'll be trying to figure out. I try not to be super negative, but I try to be honest at the same time. Yeah, and that's like a hard rope to walk. But anyways, I don't forgot your question.
It gets really hard sometimes for me, like that goes down the road for me of like my faith, and people ask me all the time because they know, I talk about my faith and I talk about my belief, but I also tell people, one of the things I'm called to do is to love people and to be kind to people and to be friendly to people. And so just because somebody doesn't believe what I do doesn't mean I have nothing to do with them. So I'm interested in the people, and you could like music I just don't like at all, but we can still be friends. And so everybody kind of gets on this this thing with my faith of like, gosh, you're listening to this music and that music. And I'm like, it's music. I don't think it's changing who I am when I walk the streets and other people. And maybe I don't listen in my car, but I want to hear what other people like and what they get out of it. So do you ever run into that with faith? Because you talked about it at different times, but does that hit home?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I one of the things I kind of used also to market my channel when I started was I was, people put filmmaker reacts and all this stuff, and y'all know that dude's blowing up. But anyways, I put like stuff like that. So I put gospel musician reacts because that's what I've always been. Like I've always played music in church and I've always played stuff like that. And so that's how I started marketing myself. And I started branching out. At first, NF and Tom McDonald. Tom, he cuts out his cussing and stuff like that, and NF is NF, so it's nothing bad. But I started branching out into other artists, and people started really making a big deal about it, because like my faith and everything like that. And I just kind of like what you said. For me, if we're speaking about it on a faith perspective, I feel like it's kind of like even NF isn't a good example of bridging the gap between a Christian person and a non-Christian person, or a faith, religious person or a non-religious person. And I like to kind of be like that bridge. You know what I mean? If I listen to this song, I'm still me. I'm still the faith following Christian, Trevor. But I'm just listening to that song, and a lot of the times I bring people over to actually listening to what I had to say about that. Not saying I'm a preacher or nothing like that, but I'm just saying, like, that's kind of like that's how I tackle the religious thing. If somebody gets mad at me for that, I just say, it does, like you said, it doesn't affect my life on a regular. But I don't listen to a song and then go out and just start doing, like, if I listen to a song that has like, I don't know, a hardcore rap song, how they spin pieces sometimes, and I don't go do drugs because I hear them talking about drugs. You know what I'm saying? So,
I also think it helps, like, with your faith and our faith, when we react to certain music, it's like it helps people understand that, like, just because I believe something and you might not believe something, we can still listen to music together and be, I don't want to say civil, but like be together on it. And it doesn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, that I've gotten. Sorry to interrupt you, but I've got a lot of comments where people were saying that since I do that, they're actually more open to speak about religion and stuff like that, because they can tell that I'm accepting. You know what I mean? So like that, what you're saying is true. It just proves that you're like, you can get along with people, civil, and it's accepting. You're just accepting of everybody, and at the end of the day, God wanted us to love people. So that's all I try to do. As long as I love people and show love, then I'm good.
There you go.
Yeah, I tell people Jesus, walked around, whether you believe in him or not. At least my story of it is Jesus hung around all the vagrants in the world, and they all actually liked him. From what I can read, they actually, they might not have believed him or followed him, but I don't really hear a whole lot of people that disliked who he was as a person. He seemed like he got along with pretty much everybody. And if you can get along with, like, the rough part of society, you got to be a pretty cool dude. And so for me, I think that's where I started hearing people say, because of you, I'm giving therapy another try. Like, I had a really bad impression of therapy before I started listening to you. And that makes me feel good that people would say, I've got a new appreciation for what you do because of who you are. So kudos to you, Trev, for being so relatable to people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I gotta ask, so talking kind of on the same line of like people maybe not agreeing with everything you say or do, how do you deal with all the hate that I'm assuming you receive? Because I think every reactor receives hate.
I can't imagine Trevor receiving any hate.
Well, I'm sure it's out there.
Dude.
So
he's too nice.
Dude, do you know how many times I've been called a dumb redneck and been called all these things about my southern accent? Like, dude, I get roasted all the time. But really, I just, like, for me, luckily, to be honest, I grew up on the internet. Like, to be honest, I grew up on the internet. So for me, I see negative comments and it doesn't really, like, it just rolls off of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think nothing of it. Like, I take more from like the positive comments, and like I people saying they really like my reaction, people like me, people like I admire, like y'all saying that y'all like my personality and stuff like that. Like that matters a lot more to me than some just random person that is probably going through something, bless their heart, and they make a comment. You know what I mean? Like, so that's just how I deal with it. I just don't deal with it. Like, I just don't really care. You know what I mean?
I got to take a lesson from him. Nick tells me all the time, quit, because I get bothered by him. I mean, there are times where I'm like, I've had enough. And he's like, just let it go. And I even had a thing that I told Nick, I want to do a video where I post all these different negative comments and I respond to all of them, like where I can have an opportunity to say something. He's like, just don't even go there. Like, don't bother with it.
Well, for me, it's just feeding into it. It's just letting the haters win. And it's like, why do you even like the less, it's like when you talk about, with like little kids or whatever, they'll just like nag you. But if you just kind of just don't give them attention, they kind of just stop. Like that's kind of how
like them
that
tapping
works, I
on
feel
you.
like. Yeah.
So
that's a good analogy.
So for you, Trev, is it what you thought it would be here months down the road? Is this what you thought? Because you had an idea when you started, hey, I want to do this. What is it compared to what you thought?
Honestly, it's a lot more fun than I thought it would be. I thought it would just be like me sitting by myself doing a video, you know, and now it feels like I have like people backing me up, you know, and it just it's fun. It just makes it a lot more fun having a community behind you and doing stuff. And I mean, I've never seen myself I figured if I was doing, I was like, if I'm lucky, I'll get 1,000 subscribers in a year. Cause like it just takes so long to get subscribers and people don't realize it. And, it's just like I said, I've done YouTube, messed around with it off and on for a long time, and I just was like, okay, I'll be lucky to get 1,000 subscribers in a year, and then here we are. So to me, I just feel blessed, and I love the community that I'm building so far. And my main goal was just to keep the same community I got, like the positive vibe they got. I just want to keep that.
But yeah, like for me, building my reaction channel that I have now. Like it's unbelievable. I thought when I started, I'm like, okay, I have reaction therapies people, like they'll come and subscribe to me. It's like, no, that doesn't happen at all. You got to build your own fan base, and it is hard. It takes a lot of work, and I'm sure a lot more work for me in the future. But I just want to ask you, kind of like, now that you're at almost 12K, what's kind of like your goals for the future? Like, what are you trying to get to? I mean, not just like a number, but just different things you're trying to do in the future.
Well, one of them is like, I would love to be able to do this like as a full-time gig. That would be cool. So that's one goal. And then honestly, I've said this, y'all are gonna make fun of me for this probably, but one of my goals is I want to do the content creator boxing. I want to get big enough where I can do the content creator boxing.
Dang, that's cool.
So I know that's a stupid goal, but I just want to do that because that'd be fun. And I already figured out that I'm going to walk out to some NF song. I haven't figured out what it's going to be, but I got to do that. But anyways, yeah, that's one of my dreams and goals is to do that. But
that's cool.
Yeah.
How about that? Like that, I did not expect to hear that. That's why I love doing these, Trev, because I get to hear behind the scenes stuff on people that you know, because people see your reactions, they see you, but they don't always get to know like what's going on behind the scenes. Do you think, is there any big thing you've learned in the months you've done it that kind of you went in with this mindset or with this plan and then you pivoted or made a change? Anything you've learned, and maybe this could help other reaction channels that have started, anything you've learned that it's like, wow, I thought this, but now I realized it needs to go this way, or I need to do this or not do this? Or
one thing that I've learned is, one, you got to be yourself 100%. Like I feel like that if you ain't being yourself, I feel like you ain't gonna grow as a reaction channel. And I think I'm always trying out different stuff. If you watch my channel, like I'm kind of like a nerd. Like I follow a bunch of like people on Twitter that's like YouTube strategists and this and that and all that. But I'm always playing around with my thumbnails and playing around with stuff like that. But I think what I've learned the most is just, if we're being for real, like with the technical part of being a reactor, is I've learned that in my first videos, I would make like a 2-minute song, like 20 minutes. And like, I don't think that's a good idea for like trying to grow a YouTube channel. So like, that's one thing I've learned, like the technical side of it. Like when I first started, every video was like 20 minutes, but then I realized like if I slow it down a little bit or make it shorter, like a 6-7 minute video, then I get more retention and click-through rate and more viewers and stuff like that. So that's like a nerd thing of it. But otherwise, like as far as like my actual, I've always just been myself on my channel. So I think my commentary has changed a little bit because I used to be more like on the preachy side, like speaking from a religious perspective a lot. And it was kind of having an effect that I didn't want to have, like people fighting in the comments and stuff like that. So I kind of like switched it around to just kind of be more of like people's friend. And if y'all want to talk about it, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting you say that. When we go back to our past, which we started totally by accident, really didn't even like sit here and say, let's go do this. It was just a fun thing to do over Christmas. But for us to have gotten, a lot of people don't know this, but you know, we had 100,000 subscribers in 100 days of doing this. Ooh. So we were going so fast, so quickly from December to January to February and March, whatever, 7th or whatever, we hit 100,000 subscribers. And we were, it was so much so quick. And we had so many people coming at us with suggestions and advice and things we should do, or why are you watching so much of this? And why don't you show this? And, and it was like a lot of people when we really didn't know what we were doing, but we just adapted. And you mentioned a good thing for reaction channels to know. It takes a lot of adaptability, and you don't want to just freewheel it, but you want to learn from something that maybe didn't work and do things that do work. And sometimes that means changing because of, like you said, your community. If it's creating an issue, then I'm going to shift that. So it's a pretty good point of like, we've had to learn ourselves how to adapt at times. And like, we were thought this would be perfect, but maybe that's not the best way to go.
Yeah. I also like how you started a Discord. I think that's a good thing to do, especially with just having comments is one thing and it's cool, but like having a Discord where people can kind of talk and talk more about things. I think that's a good addition that you made. So
yeah, I think that's like important, especially for like the streaming side of YouTube, because like you can say when you're streaming, and like obviously like it's just like a constant chat that people talk back into, and people love it. And I like joining, like they join like the voice chat on there, and I like joining that with them. And I don't know, it's fun. Discord's like I definitely recommend anybody doing YouTube to start a Discord. Even if you got 10 subscribers, get those 10 people in your Discord.
It really is something how people use those different ways of interacting and communicating. And I think, didn't we even have somebody in our community who got married, and one of the people that was in the wedding was from Reaction Therapy, that they became friends through our channel. And then one person ended up being in the other person's wedding, which I thought was really cool. It's just a friendly kind of community. So, okay. Day-to-day life. I just want to know, a lot of people don't have any idea. Maybe they do in your community, but I don't. What your day-to-day life is like, Trev?
Okay. Really, I don't do much. I don't do much. I go to work and I come home, but usually what I'll do is I'll come home, I'll do some kind of exercise or something, and then I'll eat, fall asleep for a while, be late for the stream, and then I'll start the stream, and then that's it. That's my day-to-day. I don't do anything interesting.
A lot of people don't know. When we talk, we did a podcast with the JK Bros, and a lot of people don't know, wow, most streamers, well, almost all streamers pretty much, they have jobs and they have lives and they have things that they have to do. And I think a lot of people don't see that all the time. They see you as, well, he's on every night and this is kind of what he does. But yeah, it's what you'd love to do all the time, but it's not that easy, even for them, being people who have 400,000 subscribers, to be able to just do this full time. So a lot of people don't know, man, you're working, you're trying to do your day-to-day things and this.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work, and a lot of people don't. I didn't think about it like when you asked me if it's the way I thought it would be. I didn't think it would be so much work.
Well, that's what I was going to wonder with you about.
Still my
well, go ahead.
Yeah, question.
I'm just going on.
I was going to ask you, like, what's the hardest, or if there's multiple hard things that you've realized since starting this reaction channel?
Yeah, well, one of them is just making time to actually do it. It's like, because you got to try to balance everything, not talking to people, going to work and actually being good at you, doing what you're supposed to do, and not being like thinking about YouTube all the time and stuff. And then just trying to balance everything is like the hardest part. And especially like doing everything by yourself and then streaming. And then like for me, like I try to do 2 videos a day, and it just, I don't know, you really got to kind of be efficient with all of it. And that's what I've tried to do, dial it in. But yeah, it's hard. That's really the hardest part, is just balancing everything. And then some days, like since I do, like I kind of made the commitment to stream. I talk about streaming every day, and it's kind of like I made a commitment to do it. Like I said, I like to try to keep my word. And some days I don't feel like it. Like some days I get cussed out at work, and I don't feel like coming home and streaming or something like that. But the one thing about with the Discord and everything, being able to talk to people, like I just talk to people like they're my friend or something like that in Discord. I'll be like, hey guys, had a hard day at work, but we still gonna get on stream, just have a good time. We just kind of talk, and you get in Trevor either way. Sometimes he's energetic, sometimes he's beat up. But anyways, it's that's the hardest part though.
That's a really good point, because sometimes as a therapist, when I'm dealing with people, some days I think it's going to be an easy day, and it's a brutal day. I mean, I deal with death and divorce and, really rough life situations sometimes. And I come home and I'm like, I just cannot get pumped up for a Juice WRLD song today or whatever. And so I have to and Nick has to adapt and adjust, but you're right. You have to have that mindset. And I think a lot of people, understand that, the people that really know you or in your community. And I think a lot of other people might not always understand that you have to, the work that's required. Like I have Nick, very grateful. And now having an editor the way that we do, it's to edit videos, Trev, to do thumbnails, to plan a schedule, to figure out what videos, to have the hype. Nick didn't realize until he started doing reactions like this, that the energy it takes to sit in front of it's a camera, it's not a person, and really be into it is not easy. That is what I underestimated totally.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. Like I didn't think that either. Like when I was watching people do reactions, I literally said in my head, dude, that looks easy. All they doing is talking about a song. I was like, all they doing is talking about a song. I could do that. And then when I started doing it, I was like, wow, okay. Cause everything I did was wrong when I first started. Like people said I paused too much, this and that. And then some videos I was like, I had energy and I was real hyper, and I was like, that video done good. And then my videos where I'm down in the dumps, I still do a video and I'm like, okay, I got to try to balance it out. But anyways,
there's a lot with that, because talking about I think all three of us now, I used to not know really, but now that I've started, I really can tell, you can't, if you have something else going on in your life, you have to kind of just play it off. And cause people don't know, when they're watching your reaction, they think you're 100% all the time, and that's not always the case. And especially if you're recording multiple videos at once, you got to go through this song, and then you got to go through another song, and you got to go through another song. It can definitely be wearing. So
it's kind of it's hard too, because you don't want to be fake. You know what I mean? You don't want to be a fake person, but it's just, you kind of have to fight to try to be consistently yourself on the videos, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So
when you watch other reaction channels, because I told people when we talked to JK Bros, they had said they don't really watch other reaction channels. I told people I do. I don't watch them until it's a song I've done already, but I watch them because, number one, Nick used to show me No Life Shack and Laid Back a long time ago, when he's like, check this out. And I used to love seeing their reactions. And then he showed me JK Bros. And so I saw them way before we ever did this. But when you watch a reactor, do you watch for who they are and the entertainment of what the reactor does? Or do you watch to see if they're going to catch certain things in certain songs? What do you watch them for? You said you watched a lot of them. What do you get?
I watch for the entertainment. I watch for their facial expressions and their if they're feeling the song or not. Kind of like I said, if I'm showing my friend, I don't care if he catches every single bar. I'm just kind of thinking, does he enjoy it? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm paying attention to the most when I'm watching like No Life Shack. One of the reasons he's got so many subscribers and everything, I think, is because he just portrays and expresses so much emotion and energy all the time. And I love that. That's what my favorite thing about reactions. That's what I watch for. And I watch reactions every day too. That's the only thing I watch: comedy, stand up, true crime, and I watch reactions. That's all I watch.
How about the you've now recently, like you said, you've got merch, you've got a community, you've got a name. Tell us about how you came up with the Backwoods Posse, the logo, the merch, all of it.
Okay. Well, how the community started in the first place was I started live streaming, and when I was live streaming, I was like, I think it was like the first or second live stream I ever did. No Life Shack has got like No Life Gang. You got like Tulip Mafia, all these people, and I was telling my community, I was like, we got to come up with something. We're growing quick. We got to come up with something. And like, it's kind of hard for me because mine's like Trev Reacts. It's just my name. And I was like, I don't want to do nothing like Trev family or nothing like that. So I was like, what can we do? And of course, the number one comment anybody ever makes is something about my accent or me being Southern. So we just was talking back and two. And actually, Jay Dead, one of the members he comes to every stream. I love that dude. He actually was like, dude, what about Backwoods Posse? And I was like, dude, I like that. Backwoods Posse. Cause we was trying to think of something. I told him I wanted something that was like little kids playing in the backyard or something. What would they call it? So, you know what I mean? Just something playful. And anyways, that's what they came up with, and I loved it.
And look at it on your shirt, like on your what you're wearing now.
Yeah,
that's cool. Really cool.
Yeah, as far as the logo goes, my brother made that.
That's awesome.
Well, he made the BWP, and I was like, well, dude, we got to have something like I like Real Tree, and I'm like I play the part. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. I'm actually a country dude.
He's not a pretender. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely a hunter and stuff like that. And anyways, I was like, dude, we got to do like the antlers on the side. And
That's
so
cool.
I told him to add that, and then we sent it to a dude and done all that. He fixed it up for us, but my brother actually designed it.
And I think that has got to bring people together in your community. Like we have something now. We're a family.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, you don't realize like what you was talking about, Nick, with the Discord and everything. You don't realize the people need a community, and you don't realize it until you start one. And then like I got so many people that's like, this is like no joke has said this is like a better family than my actual family or something, more accepting and stuff like that. And they like talking to everybody every day. And I don't know. To me, it just feels better having a name with it, and it's just everybody loves it. And yeah,
that's really cool. Have you ever run into people who, we talk about mental health, so we get all kinds of different comments about people's lives and experiences, but do you ever run into any of your community that's like really not doing good and they come to you, like they want help or they want to talk to you, or they like, because that's a lot of people don't realize you got a lot of people. It's not, I even had a guy somehow got to my assistant Jackie at work and is like all this whole story of their life and was like, I want to set up a time. I just want to talk to Tom like now. Yeah. And she's like, it doesn't work. Like he's like, that doesn't work. But a lot of people don't understand, like, it's a heavy burden when people's lives are really struggling or they've been through a lot and, you're carrying that. What do you do with that?
Well, to be honest, I really don't know what to do most of the time. Like I do get a lot of messages like that. And I've honestly asked, I was like, I mean, I'm just a normal dude. So like when people come to me, I kind of wonder what they expect of me to say, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they usually just say I'm approachable or something, so they go off of that. But my main thing is I just tell them that I'm praying for them, and that like usually it depends on what it is. But if it's something with anxiety, I have anxiety, so like I can tell them, like breathing exercises help me. That's something that helped me with panic attacks and things like that. So I just started doing that. I tell people that. I don't know if that's good advice, but that's what I say. That's what I did. But usually I just tell people put one step in front of the other and just go from there. I really don't know what to tell people, to be honest, but I do get a lot of messages like that. That's something that I'm trying to work on getting better at with helping people, because it is something that I think is obviously important. And especially like I want my community happy. I want them, so anything I can do to help, I just don't. I'm trying to figure out the best way to help them still.
Isn't that a little disappointing in the doing reactions? At least for me, it is. Like I'm a pleaser type person, so I don't like to fight. But I realized pretty quickly, man, I just can't make everybody happy. So I'm gonna be disappointing somebody all the time.
Yeah, it's hard to, especially like with different fan bases. Like 21 Pilots is a big thing on my channel, and if I don't do 21 Pilots for like a week or two, then it gets like bad. But like they do that a lot. Like somebody got mad at me recently because I haven't done Tom McDonald in a minute. But anyways, people just get mad if you don't do their favorite artist a lot and stuff. And it does. I'm a people pleaser too, and I don't like that. And when people come to me needing help, I don't like that I'm not like the best person to ask. I just try the best I can to help them and go from there. But yeah, it's I definitely don't like, as a person that does it, wanting people to have fun, wanting people to kind of escape whatever they're going through, just have fun, like they're listening to a friend react to their favorite song. I don't like it when people I can't help people.
Yeah, it's crazy. That point about like people commenting about like, oh, you haven't done this artist in so long, and then you're only like 3 months in, but once you get like, we're a year and a half, and it's like we've done probably over 100 artists at this point, like maybe more, I don't know. We've done so many artists, and it's like there is no way we can do like everybody, and then we have all these new artists. It's amazing how many songs are out there.
And also with some of the artists, we've done a whole bunch of who they are, and so it's like you're doing way too much of this. That was it with Juice World, and then all of a sudden it's like you don't do Juice World anymore. It's like it's very hard to find a balance, and also to be able to recognize that you're not intentionally doing any of this. You're doing the best you can with your channel, and I used to struggle with trying to make everybody happy, and realized this is just not possible. And also, a lot of the ride or die, the people you're talking about that are really supporters of you, won't be that way. It's the people that are on the outside that are kind of trying to chirp at you a lot. It can be stuff. It can be emotionally draining. And I also think doing this, I never realized how intense it was with how you couldn't stop. Like, this is a machine that you can't stop once you get in. Like, people say you can take a break or whatever, but there's two things with taking a break. Number one, there's an algorithm issue if you just took a week or two off. Number two, that it becomes a point where people don't know what to expect. And so if all of a sudden you're gone, like Nick has been so good at keeping us a week or so ahead. So if I get sick or something happens, we still keep videos going. But do you ever feel that there has to be a consistency in social media, that you have to keep your presence out there, and that's what people expect?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel that. That's kind of like why I haven't got too far out, but besides YouTube, like I kind of do Instagram a little bit, but I don't really do too much because I do think that consistency is, like, I feel like if I don't put out a video every day, then I failed somebody or something. Like I feel like I'm missing an opportunity, or like, I think that there is a lot of pressure to do something every day. And like I said, for me, I've committed to streaming every day. So when I don't stream, like I'll look at my Discord and like people will be like, oh, no stream today. And they like act like they're sad, or and it's just, it does add pressure to kind of be consistent a lot. And then that's not even talking about the community, the algorithm. The algorithm is a beast in itself with everything. So it's like, I don't know. I've often wondered if, like with doing, sometimes like I'll do hip hop, and then do a country song. And then the country song, this is like when I first started, the country song would get like 100 views, and the hip hops would still get views. So I wonder if that even plays into the algorithm sometimes.
I know.
But like I done one, you talking about Juice World. I try to do Juice World on my channel, and usually like I get like, here lately I get around 1,000 views of videos, something like that. And when I uploaded Juice World, I was lucky to get 100 views on it. I don't know why. But like Juice World did not do good on my channel.
It's that whole thing is weird, because like there are certain channels that when they do a certain artist, it booms for them, and then on other channels it just doesn't. Like for us, we built up a Juice World community, so if Juice World drops an album tomorrow, we're set, because
it's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people that want to see it. But if another artist, like when this NF album dropped for us, people just, I guess, don't like NF on our channel. It's just weird how that happens. There's just certain, it's just algorithm's weird. I don't get it.
So what do you think, like, let's fast forward a year from now. Like, what are your plans, goals? What do you think's coming for Trev? Trev Reacts, Backwoods Posse.
A year from now, I want to be knocking somebody out and no, I'm just kidding.
I love
no,
it.
no, a year from now, I don't know. With the trajectory that I'm going right now, I would love to be at least at 100,000 subscribers. That's the dream. Like if I was going to set a goal by the end of the year, that would be the dream.
How do you
And
do it?
that's
Like, how do you get there?
right now. I think just trying to improve at the small stuff. Uh, improving my thumbnails, improving my content, making it where people actually want to watch the whole video, trying to get better at helping people, trying to just build a community and a bigger community and just snowball it. And then I want to do collaborations. I think collaborations with like other people my size and bigger and stuff like that will help the channel grow too. And that's kind of like that's the strategy I got right now. Just try to get better at everything I'm doing and see where it goes.
That's cool.
One last question from me. What can you tell people that they might not know about you that you're just exposing for the first time?
That's a hard one because I say everything. Like I normally say everything. Like I can't think of anything.
Well, maybe for our community then.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
If like for your community, they might know everything, but for our community, they might not.
I know one thing that people are normally shocked about, and I haven't said this too much, I guess, is I used to weigh 300 pounds and I've lost like 120 pounds.
Oh my gosh. Wow. What a story.
Yeah. So that's one thing that people don't really know about, I guess. But
how did you do it?
Just eating right and exercising.
Like, and how long did that take?
It took about a year.
That's it? Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. I just ate like really, really healthy and stay consistent. I think with fitness, the main thing is just being consistent and everything. And that's how I did it. Just being consistent every day. And really I ate the same thing every day. Like I was just like, okay, I know this works. If I eat this, I'll lose weight. So I'm just going to eat it every day.
So that has to play into like with what I talk so much about with mental health, like your mental health or mindset, maybe then versus now, it's got to be different.
Oh yeah. Yeah. My mindset then was like that's when like, I talked about having anxiety and stuff like that. That's when it was like at its worst. Like I just felt so bad all the time, like 24/7. I felt bad, and I had like no discipline, and I just, I ate real bad. I didn't do exercise. I just horrible discipline. And now like it kind of gave me the confidence too that if I set my mind to something, I can do it. And just as long as I'm disciplined and I have a good work ethic, then most likely I can do it. So
that is a great story that people like that listen to our channel would not understand, which to me is inspirational because it's like you appear so laid back, chill, and just like a regular dude. People don't understand, like you don't know where I've been and the journey I've been on kind of thing and where I was just this long ago. And it helps people to see that, you know what, if he can do it and, he speaks about, being happier and less anxious, then I can do it too. And I think that's got to be something for people to hear. Wow.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I need to start talking about that more because I do think it would help people, especially people that are struggling with their weight and everything. Because I think that it's something that's definitely worth getting a hold of,
It's that story, Jill, my wife, says to us and our boys all the time, life is a series of choices over time, that where you end up is not because of one specific thing that happens. It's because of a series of choices. And you just described both directions. You described one that's a series of choices through maybe events or situations in life that turn into habits and coping skills that actually can make it go really rough. Like you said, up to 300 pounds. And then it takes a series of choices over time to really stay disciplined enough. I tell a story of a client of mine that I've known since she was 15. Now she's 30. And she's like a daughter to me because I've known her almost her, whole upbringing. And she went from 270 pounds down to 130, I think. And if you met her now, it's like you'd be like, oh my gosh, she's adorable and she's sweet and she's cute and she's just a great looking person. And when I knew her at 270 pounds, she said to me, I'm fine. Like, I'm okay with how I look. And now she looks at me and she's like, I know I wasn't fine. But, I had to act like I was fine. And she feels so much less stress and anxiety. And it took her close to 10 years honestly, to get all the way to that point, you know. And I applaud people in your story because, Trevor, it takes such a series of choices to get, you know how much easier it is to gain weight than lose weight. You know that.
Oh, yeah,
it's easier to spend money than to save money. You know, all those things. It is so hard to stay disciplined for that long a period, but what an inspiration to people. We should have started with that story.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
Thank y'all for having me on. I've looked up to y'all as a channel.
They can find you at Trev Reacts on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Where else?
Trev Reacts on YouTube and Trev Reacts on Instagram, and that's the main 2 places I'm active.
Guy streams every night almost.
Yeah, every night.
Super active.
Just say 8:30. Yeah, I try to be as active as possible.
Awesome. We'll have your links pinned or in the description for sure.
It's so funny when you had said in the beginning of meeting you that you had watched us, and it's like there are so many times we don't realize that you watch, you know, like you probably have the same thing. It's like you don't realize there actually are people out there that are watching.
Yeah.
So that's cool to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all one of the channels that inspired me to start mine. So
that's so cool. Awesome. Well, I love what you're doing and I love your channel and really appreciate you taking the time because it is not easy to take the time amidst your schedule. And I will definitely be seeing you in a live stream soon. Trev Reacts, thank you so much for being here and just hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime.
What a podcast. That could have gone on for like 3 hours.
It really could have.
Like he can talk just to anybody.
Just to anybody. And he said it multiple times. He's just like, I love talking.
I cannot believe the final story of him with his
weight loss. Yeah.
I mean,
crazy.
Do you think, so glad you asked the question because there are things that people just wouldn't know.
I know.
About, and it could be us, but in this case it was him, that really I think endear people to him and see like, wow, it just blows my mind, but a really cool guy.
When you look at him, you're like, there's no way he could have weighed 300 pounds. Like he looks great now. So like just a testament to how hard he's worked at it.
But doesn't matter whether you have 10,000, 100,000, million subscribers. We all have the same struggles as reactors and we're all regular people who have regular lives.
Amen. Yep. All right. If y'all want,
thanks so much for Trev.
Yes,
I appreciate you taking
Trev.
the time. Like that was a lot. And thank you all for watching.
If y'all want a extra bonus clip, there's about 10 minutes that we didn't show y'all of Trev Reacts talking to us. If y'all want that extra podcast, it will be for YouTube members and Patreon members, minimum $4 a month. You could see it.
See the bonus clips.
And also on Patreon, just giving y'all a little hint, we have 7-day free trials going on for the $4 tier, so you could literally see it for free if you want it.
Oh, man.
Free for 7 days.
And maybe you'll stick around after that. By the way, if you subscribe for a year, it's 15% off that. So whole year at the $4 level is like $40 for a whole year.
That's true.
There you go.
All right, guys. We thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next
Reaction Therapy podcast.